Yo, what's up guys? New video talking about the Dark Eivor. Thanks to Mr. Chevron, I could play around with this probably pretty amazing unit, and let's see how that works out. So currently he has it on the build of a Swift Will. Let's look at the skill set first. So skill set, first skill is Armor Break, 2 chances. Not that high odds of actually landing it, 40%, but it is not too bad. S2 is the continuous damage, and then S3 is where it gets interesting. That is a increase all allies attack power and also the attack bar. Afterwards attack or all allies except yourself attack random enemies. That seems pretty nice. Like the third part seems pretty nice. But if you look at the first part, it is pretty much similar to a Bastet-ish. The only big difference is that it's not boosting 25%, which Bastet does, or Megan that's like 20 or a little bit more with the 2A, and also a 3-turn attack buff. So those two things are already better. Plus, the base stat of this unit is a lot better. The thing which makes it somewhat strange is where mostly a team up you want to do after a unit move, they use their cooldowns, because team-ups help for -1 cooldown reduction. So this skill both want to be used before and after your unit's move, which makes this kit somewhat weird and inconsistent, but I think that's kind of the general line of this whole AC collab. All of the skill sets seem somewhat inconsistent, and I don't know what. Also, the S1 and the S2 have pretty much nothing to do with the S3, which is kind of sad. If this thing actually teamed up with like self-attacking S1 as well, then you had an armor break chance on that straight away. That would be very nice, especially if you use it in guild battle, because it's teaming up with everything. So does that also mean if you have 5 units around you, so 6 in total, in raids or rift or anything like that, do they all attack? We're gonna test it out. Does this unit have perfect AI? Because normally team-ups do have perfect AI. We're gonna test that out. We're gonna see how it is in like arena offense, guild battles, all of that Gucci stuff. But before we get into the video, I want to talk about sponsor of today's video, which is the Huawei AppGallery. If you're getting any packs in Summoners War, why do you pay the full price? Just use the Huawei AppGallery to get good discounts on your pack. With the current campaign that the Huawei AppGallery has in March, you have the possibility of getting 10% cashback 3 times per weekend day. So that's a Saturday and a Sunday. So you can go up to 6 times for that per weekend. And you can also go all the way up to 30% discount. Plus they have lucky draws and a whole bunch of other things. So if you want to save some money on your packs, which I recommend you to do, this is definitely the way to go. But how does that work? First of all, you have to download the Huawei AppGallery, which is in the description down below, first link. Once you have that downloaded, you have to download the HMS core, which is the part where you will create the account for the Huawei AppGallery. Once you have the Huawei AppGallery account made, you have to select your region. The region would be one of these countries. And I recommend you to choose a country or a region that has the same currency as you, if that is possible. It has to be one of those though. But the reason that I say that is, let's say a pack for the currency in Switzerland might seem cheaper, but however, if you pay by PayPal, as what I do, you have a slight currency exchange fee. Because of that currency exchange fee, it is cheaper for me to pay in euros rather than going for a different currency. So that's a small tip, keep that in mind. But once you have that all set up, you go to the Huawei AppGallery. You search for Summoners War. You see the game in here. This is where you can install the game. This is also where you can open the game, but also where you can see that there is a campaign right away. But you don't want to go to this page all the time checking like, is there a campaign? Is there maybe not a campaign? The best way is to join their Discord, which is also linked in their campaign, also linked in the description down below. Within their Discord, they always post what kind of campaigns are there. If you have any problems with either your Huawei AppGallery account or your purchases or your packs or what kind of campaigns are coming up or anything like that, the staff people in the Discord are very willing to help you out. So once you have that all sorted out, how would it look like if you buy a pack? So this is me pre-recording of buying a pack. I go into the game, I select what kind of pack I want. Right away, I see that I have a coupon selected. I can check if it's the best coupon that is available for me. I go into the purchasing. I can see right away that there was cashback enabled because it was on one of the Saturdays. During the purchasing, you have to use your PIN or login or anything like that. It blacks out the screen while doing that. Once that is done, we can claim the Huawei points, where it is at the bottom of the screen, and we can press OK. And that is how easy it is to successfully purchase anything. So once again, I want to thank Huawei AppGallery for sponsoring this video. Let's get into the video. Let's get into arena offense as of first. So a team which he uses it in is this team. He just has that as a preset, so I'm just going to simply try that out. Let's see how that works out. I think he should outspeed his own team. Yes, he does. Okay, actually that thing moves first, which is useful because of that armor break, of course. And then we go for the third skill, which you actually don't click on the enemy, you click on yourself. That is somewhat interesting as well, I would say. But it does make sense. But here you can see right away where that is not that great because of the team up Abellio cut. So does that make it that good of a skill? I'm not entirely sure, because in this case, yes, it did work out well because I stunned a few other things. But if you're not, you need to have full will runes if you want to use this unit for sure. And especially if things start cutting, then that could actually be pretty bad. So this unit is interesting for sure, but the cut potential on that, like everything randomly hitting, is not great. And let's see if we put it on auto. Does it always go for its S3? So in this case, it did. Let's see what's the kind of odds on it. It should be 100%. So the moment we get one fill, it's straight up not perfect AI. So far, 2 out of 2. That's not bad. That's definitely not bad. Looking promising. Can we go a 3 out of 3? I think we have to go to upwards of 5. Okay, 3 out of 3. Not bad. 4 out of 4. Okay. That is looking pretty promising. 5 out of 5. Okay, it seems to do it all the time. That is actually interesting. It didn't do it. So right at the moment I said it seems to do it all the time, it didn't do it. So it is not perfect AI. So if it misses like 1, it is straight up not perfect AI. So that makes it somewhat worse for pretty much most things already right away. Because if it starts using other skills, it's not perfect AI. Which also makes this skill once again inconsistent with all of the other skills as well. Because every team up skill in this game is a 100% perfect AI. This skill apparently is not. The odds seems to be not that bad for what I'm testing now. I actually did already know it was not perfect AI. That's why I kept testing it. Otherwise, I would have probably quit at 5. But for some reason, this thing seems to do it at a pretty decent odd right now. I'm not sure if it's because of Eludia already doing a skill or something, that it's like triggering on something like that to do its skill. I don't really know. Let's actually test it if there is no unit moving in front of it. Let's see how the AI is working this way. So let's say it's the first unit on the field, because I think the AI works worse in this case. Yeah, so something was triggering it. Maybe it is triggering it by trying to reduce the cooltime of a unit or something. I don't know. That is something you would have to test and take quite some time to actually see, like, okay, what is going on? Why is it using? Why is it not using? But it is sad to see that it's not perfect AI, because if it was perfect AI, it could even be a defense unit straight up, because it's decently base speed, it would boost your unit, plus it would be the only unit in the game with attack buff perfect AI. You could say like, yeah, but my friend is perfect AI, blah, blah, blah in R5. Yes, but that's conditional as well. That's conditional perfect AI because the unit is low HP, and then it's not perfect AI on the attack buff, but perfect AI on the healing. So yeah, him not always doing the skill, that's not too great. Is it still useful though? It is very good, but you have to be careful. Like I said before, you're fighting an Abellio. It is pretty decent odds that the Abellio would proc something, boost something up. In this case, there's nothing really scary because there's no strip. But let's say it would be a Triton Savannah. Abellio moves because you have HP the Triton. Triton moves, strips your team. Savannah moves, pushbacks your team, you instantly lose. For that sense, it might be not all too great. Would it be useful in RTA? Definitely. But something I do want to test as well is, let's say we have this, and we're going to add in a bunch of units with useful S1s. So useful S1s could be, for example, Rogues, but also, of course, a Verd. And the big question here is, do they respect their element? So with that means, both of the Rogues are unruined. Okay, I take this one. It's half ruined, but I don't mind. But do the units respect their elements? In other words, they are attacking random, but would fire units still go for a water unit on a random attack? Because in that case, they actually do, because something is hitting that. So that's actually bad as well, because Vert, if he starts hitting water units, doesn't crit. doesn't push you up. So if you want to use this as a push-up mechanic, let's say like where some people would use an Ikaru or a Tark or something like that with a Vert and then a speed lead in siege offense, it doesn't really work with this unit if there's a water enemy on the field, because Vert might target that water enemy. And that actually kind of sucks as well. Like, that's also the inconsistency. Normally, units, like if they attack, well, it's not necessarily that they attack random if you put it on auto, it plays by a certain AI, but this is like straight up super random. So that is not that great. But options you do have with Guild Battle is something like this, because the Drunken Master have an S1 that ignore defense, and you give it attack buff. That is actually pretty freaking strong to team up with units that have that. So were we to say we use this skill and both of them hit that, we nearly kill it. Okay, this in this case is a pretty tanky one. But those are options to pretty much kill things right away. But then again, this skill gets better the more units are on the field. And apparently that thing destroys the rest of the units. But then again, the skill kit after he did the S3, is it that great? I'm not sure, because, well, I don't think you're going to win this. Also, the moment the units around this unit are dead, he becomes not that interesting. The dots is actually pretty decent cleanup, though. You could say that this is not that much on a damage build right now, but if I were to build it, I think I would go similar for, but then on the, well, would you go Vio on this? No, I think you still want to Swift this. But the set that is on this unit right now, I think is pretty decent, and it does make sense to make it like tanky, some attack, defense, crit rate. These two skills don't do too much damage in the first place. The attack base is not that high, so you have multi-hit, so additional damage artifacts are probably your way to go for adding in a little bit of damage. But a team like this, or if you would add that with, for example, the Vert, would be pretty interesting for Guild Battle offense. So if we use this skill, don't attack that. So yeah, he didn't attack that, so that is great. You also got pretty much full attack bar back. We hit that for an S1. We probably kill it over here. And then we can kill it again over there, pretty much. I hope that actually kills. I think it does. Oh, good stunner from that Juno. So yeah, there's probably better offenses than this out there, but this is also not optimized rune, whereas the defense is optimized rune, but there are some decent options, and I think Drunken Mass are probably a good way to go, because the S3s and that kind of stuff of Drunken Mass are pretty good too. So yeah, that's probably a way to go for Siege offense, I would say. Let's check it out how this works in R5. We don't have, oh, we do actually have a healer, because these units are healers as well. That's actually interesting too. So let's see how this works, and main thing, does it team up with everyone, or does it things like, okay, 3 is enough, something like that. So let's use the third skill. Let's put it on 1x speed. It does seem that everything hits, and you pretty much destroy half of the HP right away. That is, not gonna lie, actually pretty cool. The cooltime is somewhat long on that skill, so it will take you a decent amount of time to get that skill back, unless you probably do team-ups with that as well. So actually adding in like a rogue or something like that wouldn't be all too bad. But I guess for this, and then also if you want to put it towards raid, because in this case the ignore defense doesn't do too much damage on the boss, because it pretty much has like negative defense anyways. But that is pretty good team up. So it's just that the what's it called, that these two units don't do all too much to this boss, whereas they become more interesting in raid. So I would definitely, if I had this unit, I would definitely use it in raids. However, I do already have a pretty fast team that is relying completely on 100% AI stuff. And this unit wouldn't perform at 100% AI, so therefore probably slows down my run. So, but if you don't have that, this is probably like legit one of the better units you can use for R5. Wait, I want to see it like team up in this case. How much damage? That is a good amount of damage. That is legitimately a good amount of damage. So yeah, I think this unit would be pretty cool over here. But just an LD5 for your raid team, I'm not sure. You're kind of getting on Jara level then. But yeah, let's test that out. Let's see how this team actually performs in in the raid. I just used the exact raid team that he has set up. I think I would personally combine it with, what's it called? The Drunken Masters. I think they would do better. They also give a bunch of buffs and stuff. But yeah, as you can see that this team is actually doing the most amount of damage. Also with a Naomi. Naomi also is pretty good as one. So you do want to use the team up thing with good as ones. That's definitely a thing. So this team might actually not be all too bad, like in the combination of what it's set up at. The only issue is, like, if he were to use the only issue is if he doesn't use his S3, it doesn't do all too much. But 29 seconds, that is actually really fast. That is legitimately a very good time. So he has the BG5 team, and he has like a pretty standard team over here on the right side. So, and actually the funny thing is that this middle team was doing more damage. It is still doing more damage than the Belial team. That is actually pretty interesting as well. So I did see that his Vert probably has his best rage set, so that kind of helps. But that is pretty interesting, and I think he's a good factor in that. And like the additional armor break, and also where he teams up with Ikaru, there's also another armor break on it. Okay, in this case, that team did more damage. But yeah, that is actually pretty interesting. Like, to be honest, if I were to use this team, I would probably even throw in Jamair. Because Jamair has pretty decent damage as well. And it can probably reset the team up. So the team up happens again after, what's it called? After the jump. So I would put Jamair in this team as probably the slot of Ikaru, actually. Yeah, I think that would be pretty good. But yeah, there's a bunch of options with that. Issue is the middle team doesn't have any cleanses. And Jamair actually performs a cleanse as well. So that helps him quite some. So that would be my recommendation. I would remove this Ikaru for Jamair. I think it would be working slightly better. But yeah, super interesting team, super interesting unit. But there are some things that I was like, doesn't have the perfect AI. The random thing can kind of screw you over. It doesn't respect elements, so a vert random attacking like a water unit makes you non-crit, therefore it doesn't really help your team that much. So there are some bad parts about this unit as well, whereas this was, I guess, the most interesting unit. Everyone was like, yo, I want to pull this unit. This unit is like the best from the AC collab. Now, I've been playing around with it a little bit. Is it OP? No. Is it good? Yeah, it's definitely not bad, but is it crazy good? No, because in the end, I kind of see it as just a better booster than a Bastet. And sure, Bastet can be a pretty good booster, but Bastet also has the S2 with some negative effects. As one, like, Bastet's kit makes sense for the whole unit. All of the skills are like cohesive, working towards the same or the similar ideas. Whereas this thing is like, we have a boost over here, then we have an armor break over there that kind of makes sense, but the odds are low, and the S2 totally doesn't make sense for this whole kit. So if the S2 would be more of a supportive thing as well, or would be more of a stunner or anything like that, I think it would do more than just continuous damage. So yeah, I'm not too sure what you guys think about this. Let me know in the comments what you think about this unit. Also, let me know what kind of teams would you use this in. I was trying out a bunch of things. The owner of this account, of course, tried a bunch of things, but maybe you guys watching this video are like super 5 and they're like, yo, why didn't you use this, this, and this? And just let me know in the comments. Might make a follow-up video on it. And otherwise, I just pass it on to the owner of this account, to Mr. Shiron. And he can have some fun with this unit. So, guys, thanks a lot for watching. Hope you enjoyed this one. And see you in the next one.